OK, Sharon Preet, thank you very much indeed for that. And welcome back to Knaresborough, of course, where it is still a beautiful evening. But Knaresborough is just one of the jewels in North Yorkshire's crown. Let's go to another Scarborough, the country's first ever seaside resort, where one issue is dominating the election agenda. The water quality in its South Bay is so poor that the advice for people who come to the beach expecting to go for a paddle is, well, simply don't go in. Many voters there want whoever comes to power to sort this long-running problem out once and for all. Katie Oscroft reports.
This is a seaside town with a health warning. When politicians try to make waves here, it's an issue they have to tackle.
I'm a bit surprised they're going in the water, to be honest, but they're not getting underneath it or anything, only paddling and so on.
Martin's grandchildren are braving the sea, but he says the state of the water is inexcusable.
It's very disappointing that in today's age that there's sewage in the water and in the rivers and things.
Do you think we should be voting on issues like this?
Absolutely. More than some of the other issues. I think it's very important that our quality of life should be as it was when I was growing up.
Investment into cleaning up the South Bay's polluted water is promised so that families like Martin's might one day paddle safely. But for Steve Crawford, there's even more at stake. He hasn't run his surf school here for a year because of the poor water quality, and he says he's not the only one affected.
It's very, very disheartening for people who trade here, people who come and hold in, people like myself who try and run a business. My view is if you see a one-star restaurant on your reviews, you don't go there. The simple fact is you've got not very nice, not very clean. That's what Scarborough's become. Basically, this is the livelihood of the entire town. I mean, it's affected me immediately, but I know people on the seafront, they're having problems as well.
A few miles inland, it's safer to take the plunge.
We're a freshwater lake that's self-filled, that comes down from the Vale of Pickering. So as the water filters through, we have excellent water quality, and the water's always constantly, slowly moving through the lakes.
Here there are floating voters as well as minds made up.
Who gets your vote and why?
Rishi.
I think I'm going to vote Labour.
A bit undecided still, I could be swayed either way.
What sways your vote?
I suppose the same as everybody, taxes. Everything that's they all say they're going to do, schools, hospitals, whatever, but I don't think Keir Starmer's got what it takes.
I'm a nurse, so the NHS is extremely important to me, and I've seen a lot of problems from the inside.
And there are mixed views on whether 16-year-olds should vote.
Would you like to vote when you're 16?
Yeah, why not?
Letting the youngsters have a vote can only be a good thing.
Would you vote at 16?
Probably not 16, no. I say you have to be at 18, because I say you have to live, or you have to live basically until you're 18, because that's when you're more mature and everything.
A little more grown up and along the coast is where some researchers say they've found the profile of a voter who could go either way. Like Sue Paling, she's a woman and she lives here in Whitby.
People are still not knowing which way that they want to vote. I was listening to customers yesterday. They're still totally unsure.
Do you think there are actually people who will wait until the last minute till they decide?
Oh, definitely, I'll be one of them. Yeah, I still don't know which way I'm going to vote.
And that indecision means come the election, all eyes will be on this marginal constituency to see whether the tide has turned in politics.
Yes, well, that was Katie Oscroft reporting. Let's cross live to Katie, who's in Scarborough for us now. And Katie, very nice to be by the seaside on such a lovely day. But water quality is just one of the many issues affecting our coastal communities. What are the political parties saying they're going to do to improve things?
Well, they're quickly finding out, Ian, that they do have to have a plan. There are other issues, of course, being campaigned on, but this one keeps coming up, and particularly on a day like we've had today. The sun we all hoped for came out and families were heading to the beach, only to be confronted by those signs advising them not to go into the water, no matter how inviting the sea looks. Well, the Green Party say that they favour renationalising the water companies. I spoke to some of the other candidates about what their party would do about poor water quality here.
Roberto Wiedensands, the Conservative candidate for Whitby and Scarborough. We are, the UK's premier resort, both in Whitby and Scarborough. We have hundreds of years of history, and the last few years have been very tough. We need to reform the regulator off what's been far too soft on a lot of these companies. We need to actually give the regulators some teeth and get them to start fining a lot of these companies. My view is we need to bring the deadlines forward for when these companies need to actually be fixing the issue.
I'm Alison Hume and I'm the Labour Party parliamentary candidate for Scarborough and Whitby. Labour would just stop the water companies using our seas as an open sewer, and we would basically put in mandatory monitoring at all the outlets, and we'd make sure that they were monitored independently. We'd put water bosses in the dock if they break the rules, and we will block them being able to pay themselves big bonuses.
David Bowes, the Reform UK candidate for Scarborough and Whitby. I mean, I would be in favour of an independent investigation into the quality of the water here scientifically, so we can monitor it much more closely and work as close as we can with the water companies to assess what's going into the sea here. My kids play on this beach. I want the best water quality possible. That's why I want to stand in this area.
My name is Robert Graham Lockwood, known as Graham. I'm the Liberal Democrats parliamentary candidate for Scarborough and Whitby. It's famous, of course, for our beaches all the way from Middlesbrough really right down to Spurn Point. It isn't just here. My honest opinion is we need to introduce legislation. 51% of the profits that water companies make, Yorkshire Water in this case, should be made to reinvest to solve the sewage problems. It isn't just the sea, of course.